Today I am going to talk about wool fiber production, properties and its applications. Okay, so please look at the slide. The production of wool fiber. So Australia is producing 22.5% on the total overall world production of wool fiber. If you take New Zealand, New Zealand is producing approximately 19% of the wool fiber. Similarly, China is also producing 19% of the total world production. Eastern Europe producing 10%, whereas your US is producing only 8%, but it is ranked the 10th among the world production with respect to the wool fiber. So these are all the countries they are producing wool fiber, and to some extent they are producing good quality of fibers. Even our India is producing wool fiber, but the quality is not at all up to the mark. But if you take the Australia, so Australia is producing very good quality of wool fiber, because the sheep which are growing in Australia, the quality of hair which is coming out of the sheep is very good in quality. So that is the reason why Australia sheep, okay, the hair which is coming out from the Australian sheep is very good in quality. Okay. So coming to the wool production, so commercial grading of wool, it is dependent on, so you can grading the wool fiber into variety of categories. Again, it depends upon the fine variety of wool, then medium variety of wool, long variety of wool, crossbreed variety, and then mixed variety. So you can commercially grade the wool fiber into 5 category. One is fine variety, second one is medium variety, the third one is long, fourth one is crossbreed, fifth one is mixed. Now let us discuss one by one why it is called as fine, what are all the quality parameters. So if you take fine variety, so this fine variety of wool fiber is obtained from merino sheep. I told you in the first slide, Australia is producing good quality of wool fiber. So the sheep which is available in Australia is called merino type of sheep. So the merino type of sheep are producing good quality of wool fiber. If you take the length of the wool fiber is 3.2 to 10 centimeter. Please look at the length of the fiber. So the sheep, merino sheep, which is producing very good quality of fiber. The length of the wool fiber is varies from 3.2 to 10 centimeter. If you look at the diameter of the wool fiber is 10 to 30 microns. So based on this length and diameter, you can produce a very good quality of yarn, that is 60s to 90s count. So it indicates the thickness of the yarn. I think this terminology you might be studying in the yarn manufacturing technology. 60s count, 90s count, 40s count. Okay. So I don't want to elaborate those things because you might be studied in the yarn manufacturing technology. So this is a fine variety of yarns. So if you take medium quality, that is medium grading. So this type of wool fiber is produced by Oxford and South Down type of sheeps. What type of sheep is producing the medium variety of wools or medium grading of wools? Oxford and South Down type of sheeps are producing medium grading of wool. If you look at the length of the fiber is 5 to 20 centimeter in length. But if you look at the diameter is 20 to 40 microns. Even though the length of the fiber is very high, but if you look at the diameter, the thickness is little bit more than your fine quality of your fiber. So that is the reason why you may produce only the count, that is 40s to 60s count. Okay, this is little bit medium count. If you take 60s to 90s, it is fine quality of yarn. If you look at this medium fiber, this produce only 40s to 60s count. Okay, so you can get only medium variety of yarn. Medium variety in the sense medium quality of yarn. Then if you look at the third one, long. So this type of fiber is available or obtained from the ship called Cotswold and Romney. So where you can get this type of wool fiber from the ship, the name of the ship is Cotswold and Romney. If you look at the length of the fiber varies from 12 to 35 centimeter. But if you look at the diameter, again the diameter is little bit higher than the your medium quality, that is medium grade, 35 to 50 microns. So as soon as the diameter increases, you may not be in a position to produce fine quality of yarn. Even though the length increases, as soon as the diameter also increases, then you may not be in a position to produce good quality of yarn. Because in order to produce good quality of yarn, your diameter should be very, very, very thin. Then the length should be very long enough. I think this terminology we might be studied in the essential and desirable properties of a textile fiber. So in order to produce a good quality of yarn, your length of the fiber and the diameter of the fiber is also playing a major role. Not only length, even the diameter is also playing a major role. Okay, then coming to the fourth variety, this is crossbreed. So this type of crossbreed type of hair is obtained from the sheep called Kurudil and Polworth. Okay, these are all the types of name of the sheep which is producing the crossbreed type of grading of wool. The length of the fiber varies from 7.5 to 15.5 centimeter in length. If you look at the diameter, 20 to 40 microns. So you can produce the count that is 50 to 60 yarn. So this is a medium variety of yarn, medium quality. The fifth one is the mixed variety. So mixed grading. So mixed grading type of wool fiber is obtained from the sheep called Scotch or fat ramped. So either you can get this type of mixed variety of mixed grading of wool fiber from the Scotch type or the fat ramped sheep. The length varies from 10 to 20 centimeter. The diameter also varies from 20 to 100 microns. So the diameter is very, very high in this case. So you can produce only 40s to 30s count. So it is very, very medium quality. Even I would say it is a very low medium quality of yarn. 40s to 30s is very medium quality. But if you look at this crossbreed, it is produced, you can produce 50 to 60s count. If you look at the long, 35 to 50s count. Even if you look at the fine quality, so you can produce 60s to 90s count. It is a very good quality of yarn. If you look at the medium grading of wool, you can produce 40s to 60s count. Okay. So depending upon the length and the diameter of the fiber, you can produce fine quality of yarn or medium quality of yarn or little bit poor quality of yarn. So these are all the types of sheeps are available. Based on the type of sheep, then you can obtain the length and the corresponding diameter of the fiber. So based on the length and the diameter, you can produce good quality or a medium quality or a poor quality of yarn. So coming to the US. So US country is producing fine quality of wool. So this fine quality of wool is obtained from 4 breeds of sheep. The first one is merino sheep. The second one is Rambullet. The third one is Debullet. The fourth one is Targi. So these are all the 4 types of sheep are available in US, which produces fine quality of wool fiber. Okay, even though Australia is also producing very good quality of wool fiber, but in Australia this merino sheep is only available. But if you look at United States of America, these 4 types of 4 breeds sheep are available. So which produce fine quality of wool fiber. So majority produced in Texas and California. If you look at the length, 2.5 inches long, often used for products that compete with merino type. Okay, so this type of this fine quality of wool fiber, even you can compete with the wool fiber which is produced by your merino sheep from Australia. So if you look at the merino wool, it is produced actually 1.5 to 5 inches in length. A long variety. Okay. So if you look at these are all long varieties, short fibers. Okay, short fibers means softer, more loosely twisted yarn made from shorter, then less uniform and less parallel fibers. The diameter also varies from 10 to 50 micrometers. The complex structure of the wool fiber is cuticle, cortex and medulla. So if you look at the physical structure, the first one is medulla. So if you look at the wool fiber in microscope, you can see this type of medulla. So under medulla, how it looks like a honeycomb. It looks like honeycomb. Please look at how it looks. It looks like an honeycomb structure. Okay. The core containing air spaces. If you look at the air space, so which increases the insulating power of your wool fiber? This medulla. So because of the presence of medulla, which increases your insulating power. So it appears as a dark area. It appears as a dark area when seen through microscope. So if you look at the wool fiber in a cross-sectional view through the projection microscope, you can see this medulla. It looks a dark space. But this medulla is absent in case of fine quality of fibers. This medulla is absent. So you cannot see this type of medulla in a very fine quality of wool. Fine quality in the sense the sheeps which are producing merino sheep, the other sheeps. Okay, other 4 breed sheeps are available in United States. So these are all the cortical cell. Then cuticle is available. Okay, cortical cells, then cuticle and medulla. So these are all the morphological structure of your wool fiber. So cortex. So please look at the figure carefully. So cortex is the main part of the fiber. In cotton, secondary cell wall is the main part of in cotton fiber. But if you look at the wool fiber, cortex is the main part of the wool fiber, which is made up of long, flattened, tapered cells with nucleus near the center. Okay, where the cortex? Please look at the figure. This is the cortex cell. See, cortex. So cortex is the main part of the fiber, which is made up of long, flattened, tapered shells with nucleus nearer to the center portion of your fiber. And coming to the other part. The cortex cells on two sides of the wool fiber react differently to moisture and temperature. So this is the unique characteristics of your wool fiber. So this cortex cells on two sides of the wool fiber, it reacts differently. It depends upon the moisture and the temperature. So it is a 3D crimp. So if you look at, this is the three-dimensional cross-sectional view of your wool fiber. How it looks? It is a three-dimensional cross-sectional shape of your wool fiber. So next one, cuticle. So cuticle consists of, the first one is epicuticle. How epicuticle looks? It is a very thin. This epicuticle does not contain any sort of protein membranes. It is a non-protein that covers scales. Please look at the figure. So this is the scales. It looks like scales, similar to the fish. நீங்க ஃபிஷ்ல பார்த்திருப்பீங்க, செதில்கள் இருக்கும் பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா? அந்த செதில்கள் மாதிரியே இங்க இருக்கும். So that is called scales, which provides water repellency to the woolen fabrics. So because of the presence of scales, what property it gives? It provides water repellency characteristics to the wool fiber. So please make a note of it, because these are all very much important point. Scales, a dense, a non-fibrous layer that contributes to wool abrasion resistance and felting property, can irritate the skin. I told you in the last class itself, you please take a wool fabric which is available in your home and do practice. What practice? Actually last class I told you. So you do a simple experiment in your home itself. You take a wool fabric and please rub it on one direction. Then you will get a smooth feel. If you rub it on the opposite direction of the wool, what you feel? You will feel a rough feel. So what it indicates? You are rubbing against the direction of the wool. Then if you can feel the rough in nature. Suppose if your abrasion is on the direction of the scale, then you will get a smooth feel. Okay. So if you rub it against the direction of the scale, you will get an irritate to the skin. So this is the property of the scales. So coming to the chemical composition of wool. So everybody knows wool fiber is nothing but the hair present in the sheep. So wool fiber is a cross-linked protein called keratin. Even human hair also contain keratin. Only the composition of the keratin varies. If you take wool hair, the keratin, that is the weightage in terms of percentage, will vary. You can take our human hair, it also contains keratin. Only the percentage will vary from human hair keratin and the wool hair keratin. Okay. So the same protein found in hormones, hooves, and even in human hair, even fingernails, the same protein. Keratin is nothing but your protein, which is available in horns, hooves, human hair, and fingernails. So keratin consists of what keratin it contains? What keratin it contains? It contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. And it contains 17 different types of amino acids. Please make a note of it. This keratin contains 17 different amino acids. In addition to carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. So the wool fiber contains 17 amino acids in addition to the keratin. But what the keratin contains? Keratin contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. See, that is the reason why some scientists they are telling, please don't throw the human hair into the environment, because for with respect to the biodegradable property, human hair it took more than a decade for the biodegradation. And to some extent, during the degradation, it liberates some toxic gases also. Some scientists they are claiming. So that is the reason why even in barber shop or even in some temples, don't throw the human hair directly into the environment, because we are polluting the environment. It took minimum 10 to 20 years to degrade. Even though the degradation, while degradation, the human hair it liberates some toxic gases. Okay, so that is a very big topic. I don't want to discuss at this forum. Okay. So coming to the flexible nature, how the keratin, it is a flexible molecular chains of wool held together by natural cross links. What type of cross link? Cysteine linkages. So please everyone, please make a note of it. What type of linkage present in your wool fiber? Cysteine type of linkage is present in your wool fiber. So this is very important. Cysteine type of linkages takes place in your wool fiber. So if damaged, the entire structure is destroyed. Yes. Any audio problem? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. So when the wool fiber is getting destroyed, when you treat it with alkali, so don't treat the wool fiber with alkali. Alkali in the sense sodium hydroxide. Okay, above pH 8. You should not treat with the chemicals which is having above pH 7, even 8. So strong alkali will degrade your wool fiber. Similarly, pressing and steaming. So you have to take care while ironing process. Similarly, then washing. See, normally during washing, what we are using? Detergent, isn't it? We are using only detergent for washing of clothes. But if you look at the chemical composition of your detergent, what it contains? Detergent contains both soap and alkali. So if the concentration of the alkali exceeds, what will happen? It start degrading your wool fiber. So that is the reason why you have to take care during the washing of woolen fabrics. Similarly, don't expose the woolen fabric to the light, that is ultraviolet light. So ultraviolet light also it will damage your wool fiber. So you have to take care while treating with alkali, while treating with that is steaming and ironing process. Similarly during washing process, then during drying process. Don't expose to ultraviolet rays because it will damage your wool fiber. So please look at this slide. This is the chemical composition of your wool fiber. Keratin, it occupies 50 to 75%, whereas the other matters like grease it occupies 5 to 15%. Moisture content 10 to 12%. Then swint It is nothing but the sweat. Sweat is nothing but the sweat present in the wool hair. Okay. So it occupies 2 to 12 percentage. Sand and dirt, it occupies 4 to 30 percentage. Then some vegetable matters, it occupies 5 percentage. So this is the chemical composition of your wool fiber. Now please look at the slide. Wool is the natural protein fiber. Macro structure of wool fiber. So the fiber is in crimped nature. Crimp is nothing but the waviness. Waviness in the sense because of the presence of scales, this fiber it looks like a crimpy in nature or waviness in nature. But how much crimp is present? If you take fine fibers, 10 crimps per centimeter. If you count the crimp, that is waviness. So the fine fiber contains 10 crimps per centimeter, whereas your coarser fiber contains 4 crimps per 10 centimeter. So the diameter of the wool fiber increases, the number of crimps per unit length decreases. Okay, so the diameter of the wool fiber increases, the number of crimps per unit length decreases. So the warmth of the wool fabric is due to the more air space in the material than to the fiber. So how the wool fabric is giving warm feel because of the presence of air space. Because of the presence of So because of the presence of air space, this wool fiber gives a warmth feel when you are wearing. So the fiber is a creamy to dark cream in color. So how the color of the wool fiber? The color of the wool fiber is either cream to dark cream in color. This is due to the polymer degradation on the surface of the fiber. As the wool polymer is very sensitive to atmospheric oxygen and air pollutants. Okay. So coming to the microscopic appearance. So when you look at the wool fiber under a projection microscope, the longitudinal microscopic appearance, how it looks, overlapping cell surfaces. So these cell surfaces or these cells are called as epithelial cells, or you can commonly known as scales, which point towards the tip of the fiber. Where it is projecting, the scales are projecting towards the tip of the fiber. So this is your longitudinal view of your wool fiber. So when you look at the cross-sectional shape of your wool fiber under the projection microscope, how it looks like oval in shape. Whereas your cotton fiber, how it looks, please recall it. It looks like either bean shaped in cross section or kidney shaped in cross section. But when you look at the cross sectional shape of your wool fiber, how it looks under the projection microscope, it looks oval in shape. The microscopic structure of the wool fiber consists of three main components: cuticle, cortex, and medulla. See, please look at the schematic diagram of the structure of your wool fiber. This is the wool fiber, cells, microfibrils, alpha helix, protofibrils, then this is the macrofibrils. So this is the again morphological structure of your wool fiber. Please look at this is the scales present on the surface of the wool fiber. So this is the cuticle, epicuticle, endocuticle, then these are all the protein contents, okay, present in your wool fiber. Ortho cells, cortex. Cortex contains three types of cortex: orthocortex, paracortex, and then mesocortex. Paracortex, orthocortex, in between there is a mesocortex. So this is how your wool fiber looks under the projection microscope. This is the morphological structure of your wool fiber. So epicuticle is the outermost layer covers of the wool fiber. Exocuticle, the overlapping epithelial cell forms the exocuticle. The endocuticle is the intermediate connecting layer bonding the epithelial cell of the cortex of the wool fiber. The cortex of the fiber forms about 90% of the fiber volume. It consists of countless long spindle-shaped cells, or you can call it as cortical cells. It is composed of two regions known as orthocell and paracortex. The orthocortex is the responsible for absorbing the dye than the paracortex. So which will absorb the dye readily? Your orthocortex is absorb the dyes readily than the paracortex. The ortho and paracortex spiral around one another. So fine fibers are having 20 such cells. So please make a note of it. The fine fibers are having 20 such cells. The coarser fibers are having about 50 cortical cells across the diameter of their cross section. Yes. Some noise is coming. Any audio problem? Please tell me, Pooverson, is there any audio problem?
No, sir.
Okay. Then coming to the medulla. Coarser fibers are having a hollow space running lengthwise through the center. This is a medulla. But medulla is absent in case of fine variety of fibers. Okay. So medulla is absent in case of fine variety of wool fiber. So please look at the slide. This is the physical properties and the chemical properties of your wool fiber. The length of the wool fiber is varies from 3.6 to 35 centimeter. Then if you look at the diameter, the other word, the other name is also fineness, 10 to 17 microns. If you look at the cross section, either circular to elliptical in cross section. How the cross section looks, either circular to elliptical in cross section. So already we might be discussed the presence of crimp. The crimp will vary from 14 to 22 per centimeter. If you look at the tensile strength, 5 to 7 grams per denier. See, sometimes it is expressed in terms of grams per tex. Here it is expressed in terms of grams per denier. So 1 denier is how much? The weight of 9,000 meters of yarn is expressed in terms of grams. It is called a denier. Suppose I am telling 1 denier. 1 denier means the weight of 9,000 meters of yarn is 1 gram. Suppose if I am telling 10 denier, what it indicates? 10 denier means the weight of 9,000 meters of yarn is 10 grams. But what do you mean by text? Text means the weight of 1,000 meters of yarn is expressed in terms of grams. Only the difference is in text you are taking only 1,000 meters of yarn and weigh it, it is expressed in terms of grams. But what is denier? Denier in the sense you are taking 9,000 meters of yarn and weigh it, and it is expressed in terms of grams. Only the difference is There 9,000 meters, here 9,000 meters. That's all. Okay. Then if you take the elasticity is 90% elasticity. Okay, so it will recover 90%. Either you can call it as elastic recovery or you can call it as elasticity. So it is having 90% elastic recovery. Then if you look at the moisture content is 12 to 15%. How much the moisture content? 12 to 15%. So I tell you one thing at this juncture, which fiber is having the high moisture content? Among the fiber which is available in the world, the wool fiber. The wool fiber is having the highest moisture content. That is around 12 to 15%. Then if you look at the density is 1.30. So the density of the wool fiber is 1.30. Then if you look at the luster, yes, wool fibers are having good luster. Don't take our Indian variety of wool fiber. Indian variety of wool fiber, it may not give good luster. I am talking about only the good quality of wool fibers, which is produced by the merino sheep or other sheeps. If you look at the color, white to brown in color. What is the conductivity? It is a bad conductor of electricity. So the wool fiber won't conduct electricity. Okay, so you can make gloves out of your wool fiber. You can use it whenever you are dealing with electricity. So you can make gloves out of your wool fiber. Then you can use it whenever you are dealing with current, because it is a bad conductor of electricity. It won't conduct electricity. So it can withstand up to 110 degrees Celsius. So this property is very much essential when you are ironing the material. So it can withstand up to 110 degrees Celsius. So when you are burning the wool fiber, how it smells? It is similar to your burning of hair, human hair. The smell which is coming out of during the burning of human hair, the same type of smell is coming out when you burn the wool fiber. So these are all the physical properties of your wool fiber. So when you look at the chemical properties, so you can heat the wool fiber in a dry air that 108 to 110 degrees Celsius. What will happen? It loses its moisture and strength and harsh. So when you treat it with 110 degrees Celsius, what will happen? In a dry atmosphere, it loses its moisture. The moisture will get evaporated and your strength, that is tensile strength of your wool fiber, is also drastically reduced. Then it will give harsh feel to the fabric. Water insoluble. Okay, so better you can use this wool fiber is having good affinity towards dyes. So you can use reactive dyes, acid dyes, basic dyes to dye the wool fiber. So when you treat it with acid, that is hydrochloric acid, what will happen? Hydrolyzed and salt is formed. So when you treat the wool fiber with strong acid, organic acid like hydrochloric acid, what will happen? It forms hydrolyzed and salt is formed. The color changes takes place from yellow to deep yellow. Then finally the fiber will becomes brittle, hard and loses all properties. So the entire properties will get damaged due to the treatment with hydrochloric acid. Then coming to the treatment with alkali, that is sodium hydroxide. At a 5% concentration, what will happen? Your fiber will start dissolving in sodium hydroxide solution at a 5% concentration. So this sodium hydroxide is now it becomes as a solvent for your wool fiber. So while usage, please take care, don't use sodium hydroxide at a concentration of 5% because it starts dissolving your fiber. Then coming to the salt, neutral salts absorbs calcium and magnesium salt cause yellowing effect. So when you are treating with salt, you have to take care. So don't treat it with calcium and magnesium salts because it causes yellowing effect. Then coming to the oxidizing agent, this oxidizing agent is used for bleaching of wool fiber. Bleaching process is the removal of natural color present in your material. So ultimately you have to remove the natural color present in your material before the dyeing process. So you have to use oxidizing agent. So what will happen if you use strong oxidizing agent? It will damage your wool fiber. So don't use strong oxidizing agent. You have to use mild oxidizing agents. Then coming to the reducing agent. What will be the effect of reducing agent on your wool fiber? It will attack the keratin molecules. So don't use strong reducing agent. It will attack your keratin molecules. Then coming to the insects. Whether the insect will affect your fiber? Yes. Because of the moth formation. Moth is a very small insect. So when you keep it in a cupboard or in a store, in a place without usage for a period of 3 months or 4 months, what will happen? Very small insects will start growing on your wool fiber. So it will affect the entire, it will damage your wool fiber. So these are of the chemical properties of your wool fiber. Okay. So please look at the end uses of your wool fiber. Men's and women's suitings, overcoats, sweater, upholstery fabrics and blankets. So these are all the end uses of your wool fiber. So please look at the figure. What are all the properties of the wool fiber? So durable, this fiber is having water repellency characteristics, strain resistant, odor reducing. This fiber is healthy because of the presence of 17 amino acids. Then this fiber is having good ultraviolet protection. This fiber is having good softness property. Then quick drying, sweat, it won't feel. This fiber is having breathability characteristics, soundproof, then color, ballistic protection, fire resistance. This fiber is having good fire resistance. If you look at the LO value, that is limiting oxygen index value of wool fiber is more than 25. So it can be used as a fire retardant material. Then it is having good wicking characteristics. This fiber is having good elasticity. This fiber is machine washable. That is the fabric which is made out of wool fiber is machine washable. This fiber is having anti-wrinkle property, biodegradable property, anti-static property. So these are all the characteristics of your wool fiber. Please look at the slide and make a note of it because these are all the characteristics, or you can call it as the properties of your wool fiber. So which portion will give which property? So this slide displayed the entire characteristics of your wool fiber. To some extent, each and every portion gives the entire characteristics. Okay, with respect to the each and every parts present in your wool fiber. So coming to the end users, men suitings, women suitings, overcoats, sweaters, upholstery fabrics and blankets.
For more than 8,000 years, man's been using wool to improve the quality of his life, keep warm, and protect himself from the elements. Today, this renewable and biodegradable fiber is just as important and highly valued for its natural properties. Every year, more than 1 billion sheep from around the world produce more than 1 million tons of clean, raw wool that is used not only in the fashion industry, but in many other products. Wool provides insulation and better acoustics for buildings. It's naturally flame resistant due to its unique structure and is an ideal fiber when it comes to fire safety. Wool doesn't melt, drip, or stick to the skin when it burns, and it doesn't produce toxic fumes, the kind of properties that are important in architecture, aviation, transport, and military services. Wool's many natural properties have made it a popular fiber with endless possibilities. It's used to produce sports and outdoor products, bedding, carpets, medical textiles, and even technical filters, to name just a few. Wool is considered the ideal fiber for cold weather conditions. It can retain heat while wet and perform well under severe weather conditions. One reason why wool is chosen by mountain rescuers as the ultimate performance fabric. And it's not just in cold temperatures where wool comes into its own. In hot climates, due to its breathability, it can transport moisture vapor away from your skin and keep you cool. The main wool-producing countries are Argentina, Uruguay, Australia and New Zealand, South Africa, China, the US and the UK. Once the wool leaves the farm, it goes on a long journey along the wool supply chain. Each bale of wool gets tested to define its exact properties, such as fiber length or how fine it is. After testing, the wool is ready to be sold, either at the farm gate or at auction. Most wool gets exported to major wool processing countries, including China and India, and several European countries. But before the wool can be knitted or woven into fabrics, it must be processed. There are several steps. These include washing, carbonizing, carding, combing, spinning, and dyeing. Wool is not just seen as a much valued fiber, but a precious resource, and sustainability is at the heart of the modern wool industry. The International Wool Textile Organization represents the interests of the wool textile trade at a global level, and membership of the IWTO encompasses the entire wool textile pipeline from farm to retail. Its mission is to ensure a sustainable future for wool. How wool is produced is as important to growers as the end quality of the product. They know that only healthy and happy sheep grow high-quality wool. That's why they've signed up to 5 freedoms at the core of the IWTO's Wool Sheep Welfare Specifications. They include freedom from hunger, thirst, and malnutrition, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury, and disease, freedom to express normal patterns of behavior, freedom from fear and distress. But it's not just animal welfare that's important to the wool industry. Taking good care of the environment and acting sustainably is a concern to wool growers and wool companies alike. Growers manage the land and sheep responsibly to increase biodiversity on their farms and reverse desertification. And wool processing companies continuously invest in their facilities to meet high environmental regulations and reduce the consumption of water, energy, and chemicals. Wool is one of the most sustainable products around, and at the end of its life, wool can easily be reused and recycled into new products. It's also biodegradable. Such natural properties make wool the fiber of choice for a modern, healthy, and sustainable lifestyle.